All right. Hello, Matt.
Hello, Flav.
How are you doing?
Good.
No James to worm in amongst us doing that, worm. I mean, we did ask him, but he was busy.
Worm?
Worm his way in, in the little crevices.
He's quite worm-like.
Worm, sort of like...
He's going to love listening to this.
He's like, like in American films, there was the nasty little bully. That's Jim. Looks nice and cuddly on the outside. Inside, slightly evil and dark. How are you doing, Matt? End of the season. We're going to come on to the big news, the big, essentially everything that's going to dominate your week, no matter how much you want it not to.
Yeah, it is.
We're going to go into that.
It is.
We
didn't really mention it on last week's podcast.
No.
We're in between both legs.
What are we talking about?
We only gone and beat Wednesday, didn't we? Over 2 legs in a penalty shootout.
Do you know what? We're
one game from.
Let's talk Huddersfield right now. Let's just do it, because what I want to do, I want to break this down. I want us to talk through this anguish that you're going through, because every fan can relate to this. Everyone, they understand. But you're more whereas some fans have had a lot of success, and with it comes an arrogance and a self-assured cockiness, which in itself masks the insecurities of the fact
individual.
That their team could lose.
All right.
But the self-preservation. I mean, I can see through it, right? You're.
Go on. I'm struggling to follow you here because you're skating across so many different starts of a sentence. Just come out and say it, goddammit. What's the matter with you?
I'm just saying, believe. Just enjoy the fact that Huddersfield are in the playoff final rather than.
I do enjoy it.
You're not. You're not enjoying it.
I am.
Are you?
Genuinely enjoy it, Craig.
Or do you think about? What's your feeling when you look at this game? Is it fear? You've got fear.
No, I actually don't have fear.
Wow.
I don't have fear about this game.
Because you're better than Reading.
No, I. It's strange because I feel that I'm willing to lose. So right. I'm like a soldier that's willing to die in battle,
which is a dangerous soldier.
It is, yeah, fucking very dangerous soldier. No, I'm willing to lose because all season we've spoke about this, and I never thought we'd fucking get to this stage. Yeah. After 10 games when we were top, I was like, yeah, I know this ain't gonna last. After 20 games, I was like, well, yeah. After 30 games, I can't believe that we're actually in this position.
Incredible.
We've beaten Sheffield Wednesday. We've beaten Leeds. We've done what we shouldn't have done. We're in the playoff final. We're there on merit, by the way, but little old Huddersfield, as we call ourselves, against the massive of Wednesday, the champions of Europe, as they call themselves, Leeds United. We shouldn't be in this position, and we are. So I've already won.
Yeah.
I've already won.
Yeah.
And actually, the Premier League, as I've spoke about before, the Premier League is not something that I look at and think, oh, God, I really want to be in that. You know, I don't. I don't like the Premier League, to be honest with you. I don't. I really like the Championship. I love Huddersfield Town. I want us to win every single game that we play. But I'm going into this now able to lose and feel good about what we've actually achieved and what we've done this season.
So James spoke with you just after you'd beaten Wednesday, and the buzz around the Ball Street office and on our WhatsApp group as we were watching that game. Because I was sitting there with my old man, right? And I was watching it, and he was like, who do you want to win? And I was like, oh, Huddersfield. And he was like, why? Like, 'cause Huddersfield, no, I don't think I've ever had a conversation with my dad about Huddersfield Town. And I was Huddersfield, I said, my boss supports them. And he just didn't think much more of it. When that final penalty went in, I was on my sofa, like, this going, yeah, get in there, and then texting you.
I love it because in that you'd said, I watched it with my dad, and I was like, tell him I love him. But I feel like I know your dad, and then you're telling me he's like, who's Huddersfield? Why Huddersfield? Surely you should know that already.
No, he doesn't. Sorry, he's kind of quite insular.
Thought we were like brothers.
Yeah, I mean, you're like an estranged brother from
it sounds like Game of Thrones style. I'm not quite.
Which character?
Matt Snow.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
Jon Snow and he's Catelyn Stark.
So you did this conversation. You had this conversation, recorded conversation with James.
Yeah.
How was you feeling then? Just after, was you right? Was you thinking about the thought that you win it? And how are you feeling now? How have you changed in that few days?
I had honestly written it off. We have not got the squad, 6th smallest budget in the league. We didn't. We don't have anything on the bench. Like Sheffield Wednesday had people like Jordan Rhodes, who we sold left us for 8 million a couple of years ago. They had loads on their bench. We had nothing to really change it. I can't believe, but we fucking deserved to win, didn't we? We did.
Absolutely.
Over both legs. I went to the home leg, watched the second on the box, and we deserved it, and we managed to get through on penalties. So how I felt afterwards was fucking buzzing.
Elation.
Buzzing. And delighted to be in this game. Like, because it's like me and Daniel Barnforth, my little my cousin who worked here for a bit, Barmy, who's coming down for it. We're going to go to the game together. All through the season, we've had this thing where we've spoken about. It's like we're not going to get up, but we don't want it to end. Yeah. It's like such a good ride. It's been so much fun having Mattering, going into playing Brighton and Leeds back to back, knowing that if you beat them both, then you're going to be. It's been the whole thing's just been fascinating, and it's like a drug that you don't want to end.
Yeah.
And the fact that, like, the feeling I had when it went to penalties, right? Because the whole season it's been sitting there in front of you. Oh, we actually could get up. But when it got to that penalties, there's an air of finality about it. You know that it can end in this moment in time.
Yeah.
And the fear, I felt it flood my body. And what was mad about it, I've got 2 dogs, Scrappy Doo, Sonny Jim, and both of them came to me. Both of these dogs felt that fear. They'd been sitting. Sonny was on that sofa. Scrappy was in his basket.
Occasionally just looking like that.
No, yeah, but they both just came to us. I had felt that fear, and I was like, "Fuck, this is it." And they both just came up to me and started soothing me.
Oh, did you
go,
"Fuck off, fuck off"?
Yeah. No, I didn't. I was just like, "Fucking come on, lads," because they're both terriers.
Come on, lads.
I was like, come on, the terriers. Come on. And I had one there. Sonny was there. Scrappy was there.
Oh, bless.
And we watched it together, and it was amazing. And I just feel so proud that and so pleased that it hasn't ended yet. So we're going into this last game, the final battle, the final thing, and I honestly can't even conceive being in the Premier League. Like I just know that I don't think I'll like it when you've got all of a sudden all these people. If you win any games, they go, "Oh fucking hell, we should be beating Huddersfield," and then you're just like, "Oh, fuck off, mate. You don't know nothing about us."
Yeah.
We won the league 3 times. We've got that history. I don't want to become that.
I understand.
So,
but in that
I'm
sense,
excited. I'm really excited for the game. I can't wait for the game. It's not all I can think about, but I think about it in every breath.
You can't lose, really. Then
exactly.
Yeah.
In fact, the bit that's killing me right now is this. There's a few people I've fallen in love with this year. I've fallen in love with Aaron Moy.
Yeah.
Very deeply.
Yeah, you can tell he's a class above, isn't he?
Yeah, I'm deeply in love with Aaron Moy. Everything he does. Even when he gives the ball away, I find a little bit of beauty in that. Izzy Brown. Yeah. Craig, one of your lot.
He literally doesn't give a shit.
He don't, does he?
No. It is about Izzy Brown.
Chelsea B team.
Casey Palmer from Chelsea B team. I've fallen in love with these guys and their loan signings, and obviously David Wagner. And really, I'll be very sad to see the back of any of those. Really, yeah. So being in the Premier League gives you the more chance of keeping Wagner, getting these boys back on permanent or loans again. And if we don't go up, I think that we might struggle to see any of them. So that's really the bit that's making me kind of want to go up. Because I look at what Wagner's done on the 6th lowest budget, and how he's so many managers. When you're watching football, you just think, what the fuck are you doing?
Yeah.
Like, is there even a plan? Is there a pattern? Do you guys
David Moyes?
Yeah, it's just like you just sign people and just kind of slap them on the arse and go on, make a nuisance out of yourself.
Yeah.
There doesn't seem to be much pattern, and this is the biggest identity where we've actually. You can see what they're trying to do. You can see that the players understand their role in it. You can see how they press, how they look to when they get possession, how they look to.
So look, if you think of like a win against Reading in the final, could take you through into the Premier League, and this could be applied to anyone who are going up through the playoffs. More money. Wagner could actually start to apply some of his philosophies with players that are capable, have the skills to kind of, and you could actually have a great team and a great football club. Not that you're not great now, but who's to say you'll get relegated?
Yeah.
After a season, you'll prove everyone running the Premier League. Yeah. 2 seasons from now, you could be in Europe.
Yeah.
I mean, imagine travelling Europe with Huddersfield.
It's just weird.
Could happen, mate.
I know.
It's a fucking dream.
It is.
I tell you what, when you go to Wembley, singing that echoing through the side is a fucking dream. Yeah. That's gonna be. I can't wait to watch it. I'm really excited.
I think that. I mean, I've gone my whole life, right? Since 6 years old, and I remember sort of like losing in playoffs and relegations and the promotions, and actually just being involved in the narrative is really the key thing. Like, I don't mind losing because it's better to have actually been in the fight and to have the scars of battle and have blood over you, smeared over your face.
Yeah.
Not actually violent blood from someone hurting me. I mean metaphorical blood. But you know, that's what it is to be in the narrative, to taste victory or to feel defeat. It's better than sitting there and having none. And that's why I set up a fucking business. That's why I'm living my fucking life. Do you know what I mean? By having a daughter, it's real fucking experience that hurts but feels great. Yeah. That's what life's about. And I guess as a supporter, and that's why I've said before, if I was just to sit in the Premier League between the bottom and the top 7, like, that's no kind of life for me. Do you know what I mean? I'd rather go up and down and feel that, because promotion campaigns and all that's amazing. But we've got a fan base that's had a really tough... you know, you are a small club. You do see other people go on and all your best players leave. Yeah. You know, you're used to seeing that happen. And I think that pretty much all our support has grown up and has given up on all that. They've given up on it. I gave up on it in about when Huddersfield went into administration, went into League Two, 2003, I forget.
A million miles away from that, though, isn't it? It's amazing how much.
It is, but and now I'm thinking, and it's really like it's my family. Yeah. It's like my uncle, his dad who's dead, who we went to the football with when I was a kid, and they used to talk about all their stuff. That's actually what football is. It's the legacy that's handed down from you from generations. It's the stories of players that you've never seen, but you feel proud of, and it's handing that on to like little Dan, who's, you know, a good bit young. I remember his first game. You know, and it's the family thing. And for all those people that you've kind of stood shoulder to shoulder with, and that you recognise because you're a small club, so when you travel away you see all the same faces and that lot, for them to all be there at Wembley and to get into that league,
to share it,
and to sit there singing "It's a Fucking Dream," that would be a beautiful moment in life,
mate.
I hope we have it.
I hope you have it desperately. Yeah. Amazing, because Reading's like a tin pot club that, you know.
It's just to say though. So you know, there's that channel that I've started but not put up a video. I'm going to put up a video this week.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and
Matt Wild.
Yeah, and we'll also be. I might change the name. Okay. So it sounds a bit like I own the world, and I don't. I'm just a part of it. But what we're going to do is put the and we're going to do some kind of vlog from the day at Wembley, which will probably go up on that channel as well. So I'll react to. You'll see how I react to it. So there's going to be a couple of videos on there. So if you've not and you watch this and you're somehow invested in Huddersfield, because we speak about it a lot. Yeah. Too much probably. Subscribe to Matt World. And
we'll put a link.
You see a Wembley video next week as well as a video this week.
So, amazing. So we produced a video about Millwall and Bradford's game in the playoffs. Yeah. Lovely piece of work from Craig and James, and obviously part of the Ball Street Network, Danny from Lions TV, and someone who we're very fond of in
Bantam's Banter.
That's it. They produced a really emotive, lovely piece of work. You can view it at youtube.com/Ball Street.
With both the boy as well, like with his lad.
So they're both of these. We're not going to spoil it, right? But there's two. Actually, it doesn't matter. Just watch it. It doesn't matter if you. What this does is capture. It's not. When this idea was pitched, I was like, is anyone really going to be interested in Bradford and Millwall? Really? I mean, look, I know obviously they are, and I was wrong, but that was my gut feeling. I'm being honest. I didn't think anyone was going to be interested. And then I watched it and I thought, this isn't about Bradford and Millwall. This is about the impact that football has on people when they watch the beautiful game. Yeah. And there is two absolutely beautiful and heart-wrenching, crushing moments. Yeah. And ultimately, it's the moment of victory for one and defeat for the other. And both of the guys in the video have got their little kids with them and their nippers. And both things affect you emotionally while watching it in different ways. When you see Danny's victory and he just looks for his son, like he just grabs his son and brings him in close like that. And then on the other side, where I've been with my old man, mate, this little kid's like 5, 6 at the most, and how old was he? Yeah, about 6, right?
And he's just watching, isn't he?
And he's watching, and the realization, he's watching and he's looking at the Millwall fans going crazy. and you can see him processing what's going on, but not really fully understanding it. And then you just see him lean like that. And his dad's face is crushed, and you know what's going through his head. And what we didn't, and what we can reveal, right? What we didn't include. Craig, what happened after he leaned? Why did you cut right there?
He broke into tears.
Oh.
Thought it was a bit.
That would have made us millions, Craig.
Yeah, but
Thinking of views. Seriously.
thinking of views, Craig.
Sack him. We should have been. When I'd been trending.
No.
Kid cries.
A broken child. But we've
There's
all
a
been
line.
there. But that moment, just the lean, and you're seeing a 6-year-old compute how cruel football can be. But on the other end, there's a 10-year-old Millwall fan who's loving every minute. And those lessons, that's one of he learnt. The little boy there learnt a great lesson in football. And what he did by going through that is he paid in, because there will be a moment where he gets it all back and tenfold.
Okay.
And it was just brilliant. Go and watch the film now. If you don't ever watch another Ball Street video again, don't do that.
Let's put a link to it on this this video. But that's the thing which I think some Premier League teams that have maybe never been in the playoffs, like someone like yourself, kind of, you probably do get, but you don't actually realise, because the league's the thing, isn't it?
Yep.
That's the main thing that everyone cares about most. It's the league.
Yeah.
Can I just say I cried in the Community Shield when I was 6 years old and we lost.
How can you put? I can't imagine.
You cried in the Community
I was
Shield.
6 years old. We were at Wembley.
When have you cried?
It was a big deal.
Crying at football.
Crying at the football.
Let us know.
Let us know in the comments below. But I can't imagine Craig even at 6 having a heart.
Yeah, I don't mean. Is that the first time and last time you cried in your life?
Probably.
Genuinely.
Probably.
Yeah.
At football.
He's just got a swinging brick for a heart. Craig.
Yeah. He laughs at the. No, let's leave it.
Yeah,
But this is the thing. So the league is obviously the most important thing, but cup football has always got the most dramatic way of it happening. 'Cause it's one game or 2 legs or something like that, but it's kind of a shorter spell, and you're in or you're out.
Yeah, exactly.
So you've got the long-term league, the higher status of the league, mixed with a one-off game where it's.
Well, you can always make it up in the league.
Win. Yeah, exactly. There's always next week, really.
Yeah.
So it's just very fucking intense. And because you end up going to Wembley on this big day out, and everyone gets excited about it, and all the day trippers come in, it makes the stakes big. You're on the telly. You feel a little bit like on a league fixture. On a normal Saturday, you're just one more result on a fucking on a fan league page or a pools coupon or something. But on that day, it's the biggest game in football, where you're out there, everyone's watching, so you feel kind of slightly vulnerable. You want to show up as well. So it's intense, man.
It's going to be intense. It's the biggest game in football. It's the biggest game in world football. It's the most valuable game in world football. I.e., in a game that's obsessed with money, and money's all important.
Yeah.
It's the biggest game in world
Fucking
football.
hell, man.
And you're involved.
Right, I respect Reading, respect to Reading, but fuck you. Fuck you.
Whoa.
No, sorry, God. Sorry,
Football gods, what are you doing?
We're cool. Honestly, they're cool. They know how I feel about this.
Just for a second, you broke character. Then I saw it. I loved it.
So Adam said that to me. He says, "I know you're currently navigating the nuances of the football gods, but I think you're going to go up and you're going to win." Like, we shouldn't go up.
Right.
We should not go up. I don't think we're going to go up, but I don't want to go up, but I fucking want to go up. It's crazy. I want to win.
Just that victory. Victory is a beautiful thing when you haven't had a great deal of it, and I can say that as a Spurs fan who's been devoid of victory.
But seriously though, imagine what's going to happen to us
Do you
next
think
year.
you cry?
You're going to pump us. You're going to beat us about 10 fucking nil. So all of a sudden,
I won't celebrate though. I won't.
I know you.
Brothers.
You can't help yourself. You go back on everything you've ever said as well. Like, you can't. Evil Flav.
When I walked in, my favourite thing my favourite moment of being at Ball Street was looking at Kathy and Nick, the Arsenal fans. I walked in and I was like, didn't see much of the football. I was concentrating on Spurs, but did Arsenal qualify for the Champions League? And they look at me like, you're a fucking arsehole. I never thought I was going to be that guy, but success does things to you. Yeah. Turns you into a right prick.
But you've had to take it for a long time.
Yeah, exactly.
But I wouldn't be looking forward to, every week, like as it is, I don't really know that many. You're playing teams, you maybe know one guy, but here, when you've got a whole bunch of people around you.
Crying at football. Though, I just want to quick. When have you ever cried?
So we played Peterborough in the playoffs, and It was a long time ago. It must have been about maybe 91, 92, something like that.
Yeah.
And we won the first leg away from home, and the second leg we lost. We'd finished like loads of points ahead of them, so we thought we were fucking there.
Yeah.
And then we lost in playoff semi-finals.
I had a League Cup lost to Nottingham Forest. Lost the penalties. Mark Crosley scored, ran the length of the pitch and celebrated in front of the Spurs fans. And cried my eyes out.
That's tough, man.
Deeply. But so from one set of tears to another, John Terry played his final game against Chelsea and for Chelsea.
Craig probably cried at that.
Yeah, he cried. Craig, right? Craig has a fantasy league, Premier League fantasy league football thing, right? He made John Terry. You know, you get double points for having captain. So if you had Harry Kane as captain this week, you would have got double points.
Right.
He had John Terry in his team and didn't take him out of the team the entire season and kept him as captain in his fantasy league. You're not 8 years old, Craig. You're not 8 years old.
I quite respect that in a way.
But no one knows about it other than him. He just opens up fantasy league and goes to himself, and that's it.
I respect that.
Weird.
I respect that.
What did you think? So on 26 minutes, he was substituted. He substituted himself, or there was some sort of agreement with Sunderland. David Moyes instructed Sunderland players to kick the ball out on 26 minutes so that John Terry could receive a guard of honour in the middle of a football game. Well, yeah. Is that okay? Or is it weird? Is it cringeworthy? Do you care?
I don't know, man. I didn't know. They did a guard of honour, when he went off the pitch.
So they substituted him on 26 minutes. Everyone started clapping. The Chelsea players were lined up.
Right.
You've got fucking Sunderland fans who travelled all the way down to Sunderland for what is it? Is this an exhibition match? Is this okay?
It's just, it's weird, man. It's weird. Like, you've got the end of the game to do that. You're just like, I hate that. Yeah. Actually, I hate that.
I hate that.
I think John Terry has been an amazing player.
Yeah.
Like, he has.
Yeah.
He plays regardless of the off the field stuff, which I don't really know about. I'm not qualified to talk about. I can only judge him on the field. And he's been an amazing captain. He's been an amazing leader. He's been a very accomplished centre back. And he's been one of my favourite things that's an unsaid thing about a footballer is he's an alpha male.
Yeah.
And that kind of presence, I think, that kind of attitude about, no one's pushing us around, no one's, we're in charge here, fuck it, that kind of nastiness on the pitch is vital in winning teams.
Yeah.
And he's been that. So you look back at what him and what Chelsea have, you got to applaud him. But can't they just wait till the end of the fucking game? Why are we interrupting it? Because what if that was I guess there's nothing at stake, but fuck David Moyes for getting involved in that.
Yeah, what's he got to do?
Like, mate, you're focusing on the wrong thing.
Yeah.
You deserve to be sacked.
Yeah.
You shouldn't be thinking, guys, I'm just going to interrupt this team talk. Has Sunderland been relegated?
Yeah.
So Sunderland are down, and he's fanning around with, maybe because he's thinking about the wrong damn things.
Yeah.
It's not Chelsea's fault. It's not John Terry's fault.
Yeah.
It's David Moyes' fault for disrespecting the focus of their team.
Was it John Terry's idea, Craig?
Well, apparently it was Conte's idea.
The notes here say it was John Terry's idea, so I'm going to take that as verbatim. Right? John Terry came up with this idea himself. If Ronaldo did this, everyone would be like, oh my God, I can't believe it. And the integrity of the game. This is a competitive game. It doesn't matter if there's nothing in it. This is a part of the Premier League season going back to... But the flip side is that he has been an amazing... He was a one-club man, and I get...
He nearly came to Huddersfield. We nearly signed him under Steve Bruce for $750,000. No permanent signing.
Wow.
It was very close to happening. I think he was on loan at Forest. I think we might have even agreed a deal, and then something happened whereby it got blocked. I think Vialli was in charge, and he was up for selling him. And then you know what happened since then.
The other part of me, it would be like everyone's like moaning and whinging about it. I'd be like, like my mate T said this the other day. I'd be like, yeah, hate it. I'm feeding off your hated. You're all whinging, but we don't give a shit. We're Premier League champions. We do what we want.
Yeah.
We have a guard of honour in the middle of the game. We're Chelsea and fuck you lot for whatever. Do you know what I mean? I quite like that arrogance as well. There's something in that.
Yeah.
It's not very likeable, but what difference does it make?
Definitely. There's been quite a rise, hasn't there, of of people be it a round of applause. It's kind of an American thing. American, a lot of times, if a player would retire and he was amazing as a Hall of Famer, like I don't know, Michael Jordan or a certain NFL player that had a great, they might retire their number and then it doesn't get provided anymore. And I think that there's a growing amount of tributes within the match.
Yeah.
But that's new, isn't it? Actually, right, guys, kick the ball out at this time. It's like, oh, you're going forward. Sorry, it's fucking the 26th minute. We got to do this for John Terry.
It's like that. It's like the thing about the injuries, like wearing shirt names for, like when Ibrahimovic hurt his knee and Rojo also hurt something, and the Man United players came on with their players' names on their back, like they died or something. It's like it's weird. You're right. There's this kind of.
I don't know where it ends.
Do you know what it is? I think it's the elevation of their ego is translating onto the pitch. Like as they become treated more and more like gods or idols, they start to believe that that's the way, that's a correct way for them to be viewed, and therefore they lose touch of reality so much. So while fans, we're watching it going, what the fuck is going on? In their head, it's normal. It's in their world, this is a normal thing to do because they're important.
They are out of touch with reality. It's and probably not their fault. It must. I mean, look, I know a guy who's.
I won't be out of touch with reality.
Yeah, you kind of are in your own special way, Flav.
Cheers.
In a good way.
I took it as a good compliment.
Good.
Is it?
No. Yeah, it is.
Good.
Of course, it is. So I remember a guy. I know what name him. But he came and worked at a media organisation I was working for. He was covering the Champions League final. And previously, he'd worked in a really big job at the BBC. And he was used to, this is the way it worked for the BBC. Yeah. Who would have these huge rights. They would spend a hell of a lot of money to have huge rights with World Cup games or Champions League or whatever, ITV Champions League. So he'd worked in a place like that. And what he was used to when he would go away to commentate on a game, like for example Ajax Man United Europa final or big England match or whatever, this is what would happen. Like the chauffeur would arrive, he'd come out of the house, just hand him his passport, and then he'd go and he'd get in the car, and it'd be obviously chauffeur driven straight to Biggin Hill, which for those of you that haven't flown from there maybe,
what is it?
It's a private airport. Mad as well, because you don't even get checked. You don't even show your passport. You just fly in and out. And I tell you, private jets is a very good way to travel. A very good way to travel. And so he'd get to somewhere like Biggin Hill. They'd go over on a private jet, land, take into some beautiful complex. Handed an itinerary of options. You can play golf here. You can go out for dinner at this 5-star whatever restaurant. Go to the game. Come back. Maybe take somebody with them, like friend or family member, girlfriend, something like that. Beautiful, obviously funded by the taxpayers, but a beautiful experience like that. And then came to TalkSport. And it was a case of, right, you're on EasyJet, you need to be at the airport for fucking 4 o'clock. No, just get a taxi out there, keep a receipt, and we'll pay you in a couple of months' time. And they were like, what the fuck? Yeah, this is no way to live. Shock. Complete culture shock. And that's after football. Yeah. So you imagine what it's like when you're someone like Zlatan or one of these top players. You walk into a room and everyone is literally on their knees.
Yeah. It can't not affect you in that way.
No, can't.
So I find it fascinating, Matt, right? Because I don't. What's really gone. So what's really good? Let me just go first. Right? Yeah. What's really good, about you, is that you'll drop this nugget of information that I had no idea. So when you just said private jet's a great way to travel, I've known you for over 2 years now, 2.5 years, and you've never mentioned the fact that you've been in a private jet ever. Can you tell the story? Because I'm curious. Why you was on a private jet? Or can you not?
All right. Yes. No. So we used to have. So this is kind of flies in the face of the
corporate ticket thing.
The corporate ticket thing that we might talk about.
Well, we'll come onto that after this story.
Okay. So I worked at TalkSport, and at TalkSport we would buy rights from UEFA, for example, for the
Champions League,
European. European Championships, or FIFA for the World Cup, or even the Rugby World Cup.
How much
that is.
Might that cost? you remember?
I don't remember exactly, to be honest with you.
Yeah. Millions, though,
I
I'd
don't.
imagine.
No, I don't think it is millions. TV would definitely be millions, but radio less so. But you'd buy these rights, and then what we do. So my role, because I'm good at making value and spotting the way to package value in order to deliver something of significance, both from an audience that are enjoying it or a brand that's looking to develop a relationship with an audience in a constructive way, rather than spamming them with intrusive adverts that are fucking horrible.
Yeah.
So what I do is I created this whole model about how we would work with sponsors, for example, and we then sell that to people and make money for TalkSport as my job. I kind of found it sometimes a little bit soulless, because you kind of think, oh, is this right? But you know, you're in a job, and then what we would do off the back of it, we would, as a broadcaster, you'd then have the rights to try and get tickets. So you could put in it's like a lottery for Wimbledon, whereby you apply for tickets and then they draw it out, and some people get them, some people don't.
Right.
So you'd say, as a broadcaster, we want to bet, and you try and get the England matches, obviously. And what we would then do is we would run some corporate hospitality where we would take out people that had, at our company, that had worked hard, that maybe wouldn't necessarily be part of the editorial, that deserved to go and have an experience and support England. But equally, we would take out people who we knew that worked for clients as whatever, who we'd maybe worked with. It might be on something else. It might have been relating to something they'd done to do with the World Cup, and then you'd run a corporate hospitality trip out there.
Right.
So I've been out and, you know, I've seen World Cup finals and rugby. I hate rugby, but rugby World Cup final. But one of the things we'd always do is, on a major tournament, is you'd think England are going to get out of the group. So, and then in the second round, they're going to either have won the group or they're going to come second. So they're going to play here or they're going to play there, right? And what we do is we try and get tickets for both those games. And then we would run what we, in like 2006 World Cup in Germany, called the Uber trip, whereby we got a private jet from Biggin Hill. We took maybe about 20 people to that game and to that game. So we went to watch Sweden versus Germany, which I think Zlatan will have played in the Allianz Arena, and then we flew over to maybe not Stuttgart, maybe, I don't know, another place, like after the game, steaming drunk, to then go and watch England play against fucking Paraguay, Ecuador, whoever it was. Obviously not that memorable. And we'd go watch both of them games and come out, and that was private jet. And we were having,
was it mad?
Food fights. Food fights at fucking whatever 1,000 feet.
No, not on the plane.
Not on the plane. But
private jet, you can if you want.
Obviously, if
I had a private jet,
if you had a private jet, it'd be decked out with strippers. There wouldn't even be seats. There'd just be strippers squatting that you could use as a seat.
For the record, I'm not at a pro stripping.
No.
I'm like, if someone wants to, that's fine. But I think it's derogatory towards women.
Good to
and any women out there who don't feel like you need to sell your body because you're beautiful.
And disregard that, because what we know about Flav is that he speaks tongue in cheek quite a lot.
That's
not real. That's just him being joking.
I'm looking you down, Lens. If you're out there, don't end up stripping unless you want to. If you want to, crack on.
So I'm not saying that to brag, because it's not something to brag about.
No, of course.
It's just
curious.
But that's kind of that's the kind of thing.
Yeah. Do you know, because the reason why we brought this up is because obviously Man United are playing against Ajax in the Europa League, and just 9,500 tickets each, which is nothing.
Yeah, that's kind of ridiculous, because that's what 20. So like less than 40% of the crowd will be allocated to fans.
Yeah, but what's likely to happen is
But that doesn't necessarily mean that fans won't get those other tickets in some way, shape or form, or that corporate hospitality wouldn't provide it for fans. But really, more fans should. Like Huddersfield have got, I think we've done 39,000 tickets we've sold for Wembley. 39,000
that's half the stadium
to Huddersfield fans. Yeah, exactly. So that feels like it should be that kind of makeup, rather than just like 20% going to Man U, 20% going to Ajax. That doesn't seem kind of right.
Have you been to Stockholm before?
I have.
It's a beautiful place.
It's an amazing place. Fucking freezing when I went there. The coldest thing I've ever felt in my life.
I think a freezing cold Stockholm is the only thing that's going to stop trouble between Ajax and Man United. There's going to be so many people on the streets.
And as well, the Swedes have got some really tough, very tough supporter groups who I would expect would be, I would expect that. Because there's a lot of fucking Stone Island out there. Not that Stone Island means hooligan, but I remember going out back in the day and there was Stone Island's a big label out there, and I think that there is a bit of a culture around that. So I'm pretty sure that it'll be quite intense. Because Ajax have got they're a bit mad, aren't they? Brilliant fans, but a bit mad.
Yeah, absolutely. Got some questions. This kind of links into John Terry.
I bet, by the way, I get loads of people in the comments saying that I'm like some kind of corporate bad guy now for that, because it's ultimately not right for fans, is it? But the thing is, when we went on our trips, we would just it was fans that went out. Like everyone was an Englishman. There were Burnley fans, Brentford fans. There was, you'd take people out there and everyone would get behind the team. And you'd sit with normal fans, but ultimately, I guess they're corporate tickets in that sense.
Do you know what I mean?
It's paid for by.
Yeah, I mean, it's corporate. Yeah. People get tickets in any way, shape, or form. And if you can provide a fellow fan, an England fan, with a ticket through corporate hospitality, then you would. I know people in my family who have taken advantage of corporate hospitality by getting into away grounds when Tottenham are gone, when we can't get tickets.
Right.
It's an issue for me. It's an issue if you've got some geezer who's not interested in football and he's sitting there and
that's the thing.
That's the problem.
Yeah. See, I'm interested in football, but I actually wouldn't. I've gone to watch England, and I'm an Englishman. But I kind of, if I get tickets for anything else or offered them, I don't want to go.
Yeah.
Like I want to watch Huddersfield, but I'd rather not go.
Yeah, and then you give them someone who actually is, and people. There's a lot of complaints. He's had enough.
See you later, Cam.
This is our newest recruit, Cameron. Come here, say hello. There he is, Cameron.
All right.
Liverpool fan.
Liverpool fan, yeah.
You might,
very happy.
Depending on how well he does, you might never see him again.
What I love is that Cam works here, and do you know how Cameron first discovered us?
He responded to a tweet saying, "I'll come in and help you guys out."
No.
Well, sort of.
He was the Long Ball Street. You watched, wasn't it?
Yeah.
What, this?
Yeah.
First.
Yeah.
And then he got in touch with me on LinkedIn.
Did you?
Yeah.
There you go. Look at this.
And here he is now.
So without me, you would never be here.
Yeah.
More or less.
Yeah,
that's right.
Inspiration.
An inspiration.
God, you can say thanks.
Thank you very much.
No problem. Anytime.
Cheers.
See you soon.
See ya.
So where were we?
Yeah, so I've got a question from Super Tiger. He says, when considering your support of your club, what are your views on loyalty to a player, manager and owner? I guess if a player's leaving, what do you expect from, say, John Terry? Does it mean more if a player stays, or is the club bigger and better? So for me, like when Bow went, I was like, all right, that was good. I enjoyed your time at Tottenham, but you're no longer important to me. Ledley King spent his whole season career at Tottenham, and that is impressive and important, but ultimately it's Tottenham that's all important. I don't know what the question is. What are your views on loyalty to a player, manager and an owner? Let me ask you another question.
Yeah, well, it's tough, right? Dean Oyle's our owner, Huddersfield fan.
Yeah.
Made money on the high street, bought the club, and I love that he's fucking Town fan.
Yeah.
I love that he's. Obviously he loves a pound note. He's not stupid, but he's a Town fan. So that for me is amazing. I get sad when players go.
Do you?
I get attached because you don't get many fucking heroes. You don't get many normally you're like, oh fucking hell, he was shit. Do you know?
Who's that winger on the right who came on? I thought you did all right. You don't rate too high.
The winger, Kwana.
Yeah, he played well against.
Mate, he was
Wednesday.
like Thierry Henry.
He
was like Thierry
Because I was
Henry.
watching it, I was going, where's the geezer you think's not very good? And I was like, couldn't see him. I guessed it was a guy on the right wing because that's what you said.
He came on the right wing, yeah.
He played well.
He did play really well.
Sorry, go on. Okay.
He did. But, so yeah, I get sad when, like I said, when Aaron Moy, we've only had him for a year, when he goes, I'll be gutted because he's a beautiful thing to watch. But we're not like a Tottenham or a Chelsea, like Drogba goes, they're all sad. John Terry goes, they're all sad. They go out and sign someone for 50 million that's 10 times better.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? I've been in a different world.
So what he said, because he wants Harry Kane, doesn't care how much, he just wants him. Doesn't need him to win the league. How much would you pay for Harry Kane?
However much.
200 mil, you said.
Yeah,
200 million.
It's
that falls out of Abramovich's pocket.
I know.
falls
It's
out
not
of his
fair.
pocket.
It does. He just like that. What's that? 200 million.
Yeah.
Just fucking get that 200 million away from me.
Yeah.
It stinks.
It stinks.
It stinks.
It's the goodbye Harry Kane for our reserves.
Yeah, because fucking sick of looking at that
We'll
200
send him to
million.
the test for a season.
Yeah.
Can you imagine though, right? Abramovich talking about money and talking about their targets. Can you imagine that conversation, right? And how it must go.
Yeah.
It just must be like.
So, who do you want? How much does he
What
want?
is it?
Fine.
If we don't,
don't mean
keep
anything.
winning the league, I could die. I need to be in the public eye or I'll die.
Ultimately, that's what it's about. Do you know there's this assumption? There's assumption or accusation. Matthew Said made it first one, essentially he needs to keep his public profile as
A winner.
prevalent as possible to avoid being assassinated, essentially,
Oh.
and targeted
Okay.
by people in Russia. I wish I hadn't just said that on camera. Essentially, but he allegedly acquired. I'm going to double down though. If he acquired
All in.
yeah, just like that. There you go. There's my life. Acquired his money through
Do you mind if I just get out of shot?
and various deals by taking public assets like gas. Is it gas?
Yeah,
Oil.
This was all in the Soviet Union's kind of
negotiated deals in order to
going from the east and to west and competition opening up and
all of that.
Yeah. Wow.
And acquired a lot of assets from what should have belonged to the Russian people, but was actually bought very cheaply by Abramovich. And it's in his best interest to be in the public eye as well. So it's accusational, or it's been alleged that the reason why he bought a football club in the Premier League was to give him that without having to be a celebrity somewhat.
Right.
And so as long as Chelsea keeps winning, and he's motivated by the fact that he has to, he wants to stay alive, they just keep pumping money in.
Bloody hell.
I think five other oil barons before Abramovich had been assassinated.
Really?
So he wanted to get out of the country and boost his profile to give him security
Wow.
or safety, really.
Okay.
Yeah, these are all accusations that have been alleged before.
Okay. So you're just repeating allegations rather than sitting here,
Educating.
Yeah.
I'm just illuminating.
Okay.
I think if people want to know more about this, Matthew Said, who actually is agreed to come on the podcast at some point, he's talked about this at length and was on Sky Sports talking about it.
Okay.
On the 10th year celebration of Abramovich's arrival at Chelsea. Look how amazing he's been. What has he done for the Premier League? Look how brilliant Abramovich is. Tell us, Matthew Said, how great, what impact has he had at Chelsea? And he was like, well, I'm not really interested in that. Well, I am interested in this X, Y, and Z and everything he's done. And it was like Jim White was sitting there going, fuck, what do I do here?
What do I do with that? Normally, I make a career out of just fucking hyping up the hype.
Not how do I deal with this? And
it's a real conversation.
And do you know who had a backup next to him? West Ham geezer. Tony Cascar.
Tony Cotty.
No, Tony Gale.
Tony Gale.
I bet he just threw it to Tony Gale. There you go. Hospital pass.
Yeah. It was
Tony, what are your thoughts? Tony's just like, fucking.
It was awkward as fuck. But Matthew Said was, he's an amazing journalist in his own right.
So there's no loyalty in football.
No, forget it.
There's very, very little of loyalty in football, but when you see it, it's a beautiful thing to behold and to treasure.
Brad Reedford.
By the way, just as a different thing to that, right? But what I learned this week was that, and this is in. I'm talking to Craig. Craig should be on camera. People like that, but he refuses to.
And they caught him.
Yeah,
They caught him in the live show. We saw a
Did
side
they?
of his head.
Yes.
Someone screen grabbed it.
Is that right? Someone screen grabbed it. I love
He
that.
said, I've caught a wild Craig. Caught myself a lesser spotted Craig.
That's great, a wild Craig. So what I learnt was that, so much like, they used to have this thing, so if you play poker and you play multi-table, I used to play multi-table tournaments, right? So you'd progress through. You might start off with a field of 1,000 people, 600 people. You progress through. You play a few days, and you end up with the final table. Now, at some points when it was getting short-handed, so it's down to maybe heads up 2 players or 3 players, people would do a deal. Right. Sometimes based on the chips and based on what the prizes were. So they do a deal and go, all right, well, because we've got similar chips, let's just take half the money each. Or what we'll do is we'll play on, but first place is definitely going to get this amount and second is going to get this amount. They'd create their own rules. You're allowed to do that, yeah. Right. Unless a tournament precludes it with their specific rule structure, but ultimately you're allowed to do that.
Okay.
Now, what I've just learned is that Huddersfield and Reading, like all teams going into this game, will be doing a deal. Because obviously the richest game in football, so say Reading go up and they all of a sudden are going to get all this the hugest TV revenue deal ever, they're all of a sudden going to have like 160 mil or whatever the prize of the game is. They'll have a deal in place with Huddersfield that'll go, no matter what, you're going to get 10 mil.
How do you feel about that?
I don't know. I think that it's kind of like probably fair play.
I agree. I think that's a fantastic way to go about it. Because I think more than 10 million. Let's do 50-50.
Well, I wish I was negotiating on behalf of Huddersfield, but then actually, the more you give away, and then you get up and you're like, damn, we got to give fucking Reading 25 mil now. Why don't we just take 10 million when it was there?
Or sign it with invisible ink. Fuck you, Reading. Have a look at the pager. Yeah, I quite like that. I didn't know that existed. I didn't know that was against the rules, but it shouldn't be.
That could be a scoop for everyone. Did anyone know that? Is that a new thing?
How did you find out about that?
I can't say that.
Okay, good.
I can't reveal my sources.
Did you make it up?
Yeah.
That is fascinating. I do like the fact that happens because it secures £10 million, a lot of money to both Reading and Huddersfield, and
But it's just good because at least you lose the game, you walk away. At least you got 10 mil. It'll kind of
10 mil is an Aaron Moy.
Mate, ooh.
Pick him up.
Aaron Moy.
If you go up, he could sign.
I fucking love Aaron.
There's a lot riding on this game.
There's a lot. Next question.
Brad Reefer says, why do we not see teams use the rolling ball free kick anymore? Back in the day, Gerrard specialised in them. The original Fundersea. What?
Mate, that is a fucking great spot.
Thunder bastard.
I actually did say on there.
Good spot.
Because that is
double exclamation mark.
That is a great spot. It is. You don't see that anymore.
Does that mean? So what is it? What is a rolling ball free kick? Is it when one player just rolls it into the path of another and they smash it? That's because they never work.
That used to be the technique. There was also the one though I quite liked, where teams would do that. They'd have a little thing where they'd nudge it one way, the guy'd be running up, and then the guy that had trapped it would then push it back the other way. So it was like the misdirection one. But ultimately, as soon as you've touched that ball, the wall's on you. So maybe that's why. But it's a great spot. What else? Has anybody got any other things that have disappeared from the game of football that used to be a thing?
It'd be great to have Adam on because Brentford last year, I think they tried 10 different free kick techniques where they do different passes, flicking it up, different players running over it.
Nothing
and they didn't score any.
Because it's difficult. Set pieces are really hard to score against.
Yeah.
Score. I don't know. You're throwing that on me. I can't really think of anything. Sorry.
Yeah, maybe they can help.
Yeah, help. Let us know. Yeah, sorry. You're asking them.
I was.
My ego didn't allow me to see that. No. How long have we been recording, Craig?
About 50 minutes.
50 minutes. All right. So
that's about right.
Okay. There's a question from Emmett Floyd. He says,
by the way, if you're watching this and you've not subscribed to the Long Ball Street podcast, please subscribe.
Yeah.
Just thought I'd throw it in. Carry on.
Send us questions.
Pod questions.
Below.
Hashtag pod. Top fives. We got a top 5 this week.
Nope.
What's the fucking? What do I ask, Flav?
one top 5 a week.
Why have you not got one? Craig, make up a top 5 while we're doing it.
Yeah, Craig, make up a top 5.
Come on, Flav.
Sakes. All right, top 5 quotes in the Bible. There you go. Emmett Floyd. Do clubs actually do try and think of one, Craig. Do clubs genuinely need to move stadiums nowadays in order to actually improve? Why can't Spurs and West Ham improve in their old stadiums? It's not about improving. There is no reason. Spurs could win the league next year if we stayed in our stadium, if we spunked 100 million, which we definitely have in the bank, right? £100 million on a top draw forward, someone who doesn't come from Arsenal, but someone as good as Alexis Sanchez, would probably win the league next year with the team work ethic and having a manager like Pochettino in place, it's ultimately about money and revenue and that is about long-term success. But in a time when so much money comes from TV revenue, I don't think having a bigger stadium is that important. But it is important to the owners who ultimately want to ensure that the asset they have is always saleable.
Yeah.
So a bigger stadium that's filled every week is a valuable asset for them to have, and it makes them attractive to one day. You know, ENIC, they're not going to be around forever. They're not going to be our owners of our company forever. Eventually, they want a return on the money they've put in. Yeah. They're not spending 800 million a new stadium so Spurs fans have a better place to watch football. That's not what this is about. No. But we do benefit in that way.
Yeah, I'm bored.
All right, great.
But what I was going to say, you know earlier when I said that there's no loyalty in football?
Yeah.
There is, it's the fans. The fans are the only loyal bit, obviously.
Yeah.
Owners and all that lot do tend to come and go. And maybe that's why I think that a lot of things with West Ham, they're ultimately gone. They bought something that was probably undervalued in a space that they knows there's a trend of foreign owners coming in. So if they get West Ham, if they up the capacity and make it shinier and get more tourist people in there and all of a sudden start to grow it, they can grow the top line, they can probably grow the profit, and they can grow how shiny that is to some foreign guy that's like Abramovich, is looking to take his millions and become famous or have that thing. So ultimately they're running businesses, you know, and it's just sad because so many teams have actually been fucked over in those regards. You know, obviously Leeds are my rivals, and someone that I feel fiercely competitive towards. Yeah. But there's a club that's got a great history and that's got a really strong, passionate fan base. And what they've really had to cope with over, like many other clubs, has been a bit unfair. People come in and buying the club and then buying it ultimately to do some fancy thing with the finances to make cash, whilst pretending that they actually give a shit about this and that the fans do. So, but what I do love is Billericay Town. Glenn Tamplin.
Yeah, you've been talking to him.
I've been talking to him. And
who is he?
So, I mean, look, this is a guy that's done really well in business. A guy that's made money, and he's made money in business because he's got a very good work rate. He's got a very good attitude towards not accepting the constraints that are put on you, and he's gone out and turned 500 quid into fucking, I don't know, 100 million or something crazy like that. His house is ridiculous. He's minted, but he was a bit bored and unfulfilled. So what he's then gone is, right, I'm gonna my passion's football. I'm not just gonna go and try and buy a club that's up there. I'm gonna take one from the bottom to the top, and I'm gonna put all my energy into it and all my passion and some of my resources. So he's gone away and bought players that they shouldn't have and paid them wages like Jamie O'Hara, Konchesky, and the team's been doing well. They've won, I think they got promoted, they won the cup, and he's also taken the crowd, because what he did, and this is what's beautiful and what I love about their project.
It's the team that went viral, isn't it?
That's right, for the
singing the R. Kelly tune.
The R. Kelly tune, the world's greatest.
Sorry, go on.
But what he did, he had a fan forum straight away, and it's like, what do you guys want? What's bothering you? What's annoying? And they're obviously going, well, this, and you know, there's no shop there, and there's no so and so there, and blah blah blah. And he's gone, all right, cool, and he's just gone away and done it all. And then he's come back, second fan forum, he's like, right, you asked for this, done them. What else do you want? And they've got this, and he's gone, cool, all right, he's gone away and done them. Like, and then he's come back and gone, right, I've done things for you. Now, for me, can you bring to the next game, please bring a friend. So I have to bring one friend, each and every one of you, and get everyone to bring a friend. And the gates have gone up, these numbers might not be right, but from maybe 400 to like 4,000. Right. So they're defying what they should be, their place in this world. And I think there's a very exciting thing there, but he's building it. You know, he's come in, he's obviously got the cash.
Ground up.
And he's asking fans what they want and investing in the fan base and giving them an experience and showing that he gives a fuck, rather than what loads of people can go, yeah, I give a shit. And then actually they're just kind of cha-ching,
Yeah,
let's
because
get him to pay
he's
for this.
saying he's not saying right. I've given you all you want. Now you're going to pay 10 times what you did, or double what you did. He's saying now just bring a mate along, and that actually improves the matchday experience for fellow fans. Like you're bringing people, improving the you know that's interesting, very interesting.
And I think so that's quite an interesting story to watch out for.
Yeah. All right. Okay. So we had our fill of the long ball streak this season. Or do you want to do that last question? Feels a bit bleak. I read it and I was like, I don't want to answer it.
Yeah, let's
Nice one, Adam. Putting that in right at the end.
Adam.
Big shout out to Kristen Hennish. If you haven't listened or watched the podcast last week, we had Kristen on.
What happens during the off season?
Well, we're going to think about that.
Yeah.
If some big stuff happens, we're not going to sit here and record for the sake of it,
though, can we? What about because were we?
Well, it depends.
Yeah.
We need to talk about it.
We need to talk about it.
We're letting people behind the curtain.
Stop?
Do you want us to stop?
Just let us know.
Or let us know.
Get in the comments below. Just put stop.
or go.
Yeah, stop or continue.
Yeah, just put in the comment whatever you think. Just stop for the summer.
If you've got this far.
Yeah.
Fuck the algorithm. Maybe we could just do a video called Algorithm every week, and you just write on it, and then it just at least keeps us active.
Yeah, we've worked out that the algorithm on YouTube is largely just bollocks.
Okay.
Yeah, we had a video that was insanely engaged, huge likes, huge engagement, more than we've ever had for a video of that size, and nothing didn't boost.
What do you mean nothing?
Well, it wasn't boosted by YouTube. There was nothing.
Nothing different.
Nothing happened. No, nothing different other than the fact that likes and comments were massive.
Do you think
so? Whatever the algorithm is, it wasn't that.
Yeah. So yeah. I think that they cannot. Yeah, in fact, let's not get into that. But did you do your top fives, Craig? Did you get one?
Do you want to do it?
What? So you just sat there and I asked you to come on, and you thought we
We
laughed
both-
and then didn't start thinking about it.
I did. I can do one. You want to do one?
Go on.
Well, we did ask for one, Craig.
Top 5 cup moments. Seeing as all the cups about to start.
Top 5 cup moments.
Top
Oh, what about top 5 replacements for Craig?
Top 5 replacements.
A dustbin.
Anyone?
Anyone? A dustbin. A pineapple.
A pineapple.
A Kit Kat. Because at least you can
I
eat
definitely
a Kit
swap Craig for a Kit Kat.
Kat. Yeah, I quite like
starving.
Kit Kat. Alright, this is it, and it's the end. It's been absolutely lovely looking across at you, at your beautiful face for what has been something like 58 episodes. We've sat here for only 60 hours.
It sounds like it's over. I'm
It's
not
over
unaware.
for the season.
Oh.
Over for the season.
But the season's not over, mate. Huddersfield play fucking Reading.
Well, you go on holiday and I go on holiday next week. So
No, I go on holiday at the end of
well,
the
you
week.
can sit here with James, beautiful James, but for me it's over. All right.
Okay. So I want to do one next week.
You've got to if you win. You have to.
Oh well, I will, and I'm on my channel, which is starting. There'll be the reaction video where you'll see some of the. I want to vlog the day.
All right, that sounds like a good thing for Ball Street.
We're gonna do a bit. We're gonna know. There's a couple of things that are gonna be going
All
on.
tides ride together.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. All tides rise together. I'll tell you what. For the last time this season, or for me.
See you at the far post. Bye.
Right.